BMX Plus. What can you say about BMX Plus? Nothing, because this magazine is freaking terrible. I don't want to be cynical, and when I make these videos, I don't want to complain. My goal is not to just be cool and talk about how lame something is. I want to have an idea. I want to have something substantive to say. Hopefully something insightful and original and that I'm psyched to talk about. And I wouldn't make this video just to dog on BMX Plus. But it's kind of unavoidable. I've got a box of stuff from my collection that I've earmarked. That is stuff I'm psyched on. That might be content for future videos. And tonight I was in the mood to make a video. I didn't have anything in mind. I went through my box and nothing was clicking. And I thought, I should go through that stack of Plus mags. I bet there's some kind of like gold nugget buried in there that I'm not thinking of. That's going to be like really cool. And I'm going to get fired up and want to talk about it. And I went through this whole stack of mags, and I just got more and more irritated and bummed out. The amount of quality content in these mags is so close to zero. I found photos here and there that I thought might be worth sharing, but basically this exercise was not going to yield any fruit. And so for context, if you don't ride BMX, or if you're too young to know about BMX Plus, I touched on Plus in a pretty recent video, but I'll just say it again. It was a magazine in the 80s, 90s, maybe early 2000s. A lot of racing content and BMX contests, freestyle contests. Super family-friendly, focused writing, and they distributed for free through elementary schools, and that's where I read it. That was this was my main exposure to BMX through the early mid-90s. Had probably the biggest newsstand distribution, so it was like the biggest BMX media arm out there. I kind of wonder, if I were an older rider, what do the older riders who weren't just in freaking grade school think reading BMX Plus? Did it drive them crazy? I don't know. But so I'm flipping through these mags and feeling like this is going nowhere. This is a waste of my time. And I stumbled on this article that blew my frickin' mind. And I am so psyched to share this with you. Now, this article I'm going to share is very hokey. But I don't blame BMX Plus for the hokiness. And I wouldn't be making this video just to highlight how lame BMX Plus was. So that's not the spirit of this at all. This article I'm going to share, I'm sharing it in the spirit of a time capsule, because this is a snapshot of the world, of the history, of the way things actually were. And I kind of hope that some younger people watch this video, because they're not going to believe that this is the way the world actually was. And if you're old enough to remember this time, you're going to enjoy being reminded of the way things were. So I'm basically just gonna read this article to you. It's not long, but it really requires no commentary. But here we go. So this is March 1997. BMX and the Internet: How You Can Ride the World Wide Web. Everyone's talking about the Internet these days, and it was only a matter of time before BMXers started shredding the net. Right now, the part of the Internet called the World Wide Web is bursting with BMX content. And the part of the Internet called the World Wide Web, They must be, I think, making a distinction between like America Online pages, which was a lot of how people were still interacting with the internet. Like people weren't actually getting on the web, which is what we do now. Things you can do on the web: talk to riders around the world, see photos of new BMX products, buy and sell bike parts, get race results, win free prizes, download BMX photos, movies, and stories. Holy shit, the internet sounds amazing. How do I ride the World Wide Web? To start riding the web, all you need is a computer, modem, phone line, and an internet connection. In fact, if the library at your school has computers with internet access, then you can even ride the web at school. By using a simple program called a web browser, you can track down all the BMX freestyle information you want. Once you are on the web, getting around is easy. Here's an example of how it works. Let's say you are looking at a story on a web page. So there's no Google. There's no effective search at this time. The way that we learned about websites was through word of mouth or by reading about them in magazines like this. Let's say you're looking at a story on a web page and the word Haro is underlined. This is called a link. And by simply clicking on Haro with your mouse, you will be taken to the Haro web page in a matter of seconds, depending on how fast your modem is. This way you can hop from page to page with ease. The coolest BMX web pages. Here we go. There are tons of BMX pages on the web, and we are giving you a brief description of the best 3 we found. These sites are very cool, and they point you to lots of other BMX pages around the world. We have also compiled a list of web addresses for every BMX freestyle company we could find. If you know of a company's web page address that is not in this list, send us a letter or fax with the address, and we will print it in a future issue. Don't email us any website links. Write us a letter or send us a fax. So here are the best 3 web pages on the internet. BMX Pickle. members.aol.com/bmxpickle/pickle1.htm. This is the most informative BMX and freestyle page we found on the web. This NorCal-based page not only has its own BMX information listed, but it also has a good description of nearly all the BMX sites on the web. Every rider with a modem should check out this page immediately. Number 2, ProTile. funnelweb.utcc.utk.edu/tilde/geberk/protile.html. This is a European freestyle-based page. Okay, I explicitly remember that Grime Burke was a rider. He was a student at University of Tennessee, not European. So utk.edu, that's University of Tennessee, Knoxville. This is a university webpage. So this article has some inaccurate information, but we shall proceed. Writers from around the world write messages on ProTile's bulletin board system every day. Sometimes even bona fide freestyle superstars write in. Yes, ProTile, the ProTile message board, not a message board, bulletin board was frickin' lit. Leave a comment if you ever posted on ProTile. Number 3, BMX Online. cityscape.co.uk/users/dv59. This well-done English site has many BMX and freestyle stories to read every time you check it out. Right now, there are lots of good stories about the BMX World Championships on the page, plus plenty more. Now, I haven't gone and checked any of these URLs, but I'm sure these websites are still up and all the links still work. And here we go. And here is the definitive list of every BMX company with a website. And if you know of any BMX websites that are not listed in this list, send a fax or write a letter to BMXPLUS, and they will print it in a future issue. Okay. Thanks for watching, guys. Good night!